Why they don't have like ESPN and stuff like that in here? They heavy with the GQ. See, look, all of this stuff in here will literally be at your fingertips if you would just agree to do the Apple subscription for Apple Magazine. It's only $10. That's enough?
It's enough for me.
It's enough for you? Well, I'll get it, and then you could look at what.
Enough subscriptions, okay?
I only have 2 subscriptions.
No, there's a lot of subscriptions, okay? DraftKings is a subscription.
DraftKings is not a subscription.
Xbox is a subscription.
You wasn't worried about that DraftKings subscription when I won that money, though.
You won one time.
I won one time, but it was thousands.
It was 1,000.
Over 1,000 is thousands.
Okay, barely over 1,000. Okay, and $1,000 for adults these days is like $10.
You're supposed to round up.
No, that's lying.
But anyway, DraftKings is not a subscription.
Okay.
Yes, I said it. Drafting a cornerback in this year's draft in the first round could be a mistake. It could be a mistake. If we waste the first round pick on something that's not an obvious need, could be a mistake. It could be a mistake. Now we got the opportunity. Now listen, it's great that NFL is predicting us with the highest odds to win the NFC East. Because on paper, when you look at it, come on, man, nobody really compares from top to bottom. Nobody compares to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. But that is just based on a lot of factors. It's based on a lot of factors. One being the health of Carson Wentz. 2 being that this first round pick in the draft has to address a need. It has to address a need. It's like us picking a quarterback in the first round of this draft. It don't make no sense to pick a cornerback or wide receiver, in my opinion. Now, unless you're picking up the successor to Nelson Aguilar, but you can wait till the second round to do that. Right now, you've decided to pay Nelson Aguilar, so why would you waste the pick on his successor? You got to play for the window that's open while you have Nelson Aguilar. You see where I'm coming from? You got to strike while the iron hot. You need a linebacker, get a linebacker. Get a linebacker. But let's talk about the formula of the Philadelphia Eagles. The formula has always been the draft lineman, defensive line, offensive line. That's the formula, defensive line, offensive line, which brings me to my next question. Now, I'm thinking logically. I like to think logical about these things because certain things make sense. I like to act like that I'm wearing a hat, and I like to act like that I'm the guy who sees the roster, and I like to act like, you know, I would like to put myself in what would you do situations. I don't just want to talk about the moves. I want to tell you what I would do. Now, we're looking at Gerald McCoy. Being as though we're looking at Gerald McCoy, he has to be traded for unless they release him and just eat whatever they owe him, the guaranteed bread. If they release him, that's one thing. But if you trade for Gerald McCoy, which I think will end up happening, is how we probably will end up losing one of our cornerbacks. If you trade for Gerald McCoy, tell me where that makes sense at. But if you're looking at somebody, if you're looking at a defensive lineman and Ndamukong Suh is just still there, why would you trade for somebody? You're going to get great production out of Ndamukong Suh with Malik Jackson and Fletcher Cox and the edge rushers that we have like Brandon Graham. Why would you trade for somebody where you can get the same skill set from somebody who's only looking for a one-year deal? He's not looking for nothing crazy to keep him around for a long time. He's 32 years old. You got to play for the window. You got to play for the window. You got to play for the window. And it makes no sense to not play for the window. So it's like you lose a cornerback possibly running after McCoy. Then you have to draft a cornerback. Or what you could do is just draft yourself your linebacker, just sign Ndamukong Suh to a one-year deal, veteran minimum most likely, and go about your business. There's so many ways you could do this, but like I said, man, you never know how they're going to do it. So I believe that it's just way too dangerous to get into the speculation game when you're talking about when you're talking about not free agency, when you're talking about draft prospects. It's dangerous. First of all, let me break this down to you guys. First of all, they said we didn't have any cap space. That was the first thing. They said we didn't have any cap space. So you really can't listen to a lot of the media at this point. First, we didn't have any cap space and we was in trouble. Then we end up bringing in Deshaun Jackson, Malik Jackson, re-signing Brandon Graham. You know what happened. You know what happened. We end up making probably the second biggest splash in free agency with no money. So Howie Roseman knows how to balance these books, and he knows how to budget these things. And we still got cap space right now. So if we wanted to go after Ndamukong Suh, we can get him. No problem. No problem. We could get him. We can get him. I understand Gerald McCoy is a beast, but why would we trade something? Why would we trade? Listen, I don't like to make predictions about the draft, but I'm telling you, I really, really feel like they're going to draft a linebacker with that first pick. They're going to draft a linebacker. They're going to draft a linebacker. I'm telling you, the NFL has turned into a copycat league, which is why we throw around smoke and mirrors. We're a very smart organization. We understand. We're going to interview a wide receiver before the draft. I just read. I forget his name. We're going to interview a wide receiver. So you know what's going to happen? A lot of people are going to follow suit and start looking at these wide receivers. It's a copycat game. It's a copycat business. It's a copycat business. A copycat business. I'm trying to tell you, don't get caught up in a copycat business and then be thrown off when we go somewhere in the left field and get a linebacker. We don't want nobody to know that we hot on the linebacker. We don't want nobody to know that. Last time we was hot and had the hots for a linebacker, Dallas took him. So we don't want to fall into the same traps like that. We got to be smarter. We're growing. We're growing. We got to be smarter. We know the mistakes we made last year. The success rides on so much this year. A lot of things have to line up for us to win a Super Bowl. It's just not going to be given to us. Carson Wentz got to stay healthy. Carson Wentz has to make adjustments to his game. Jordan Howard got to catch more passes than he's ever caught. That's just how our offense is. Jordan Howard is saying that, you know, he's an improved pass catcher. He's vowing it. Well, that got to translate onto the field because we're that type of ball club. We're that type of ball club. I believe he has improved. You know what I mean? It's no, and I'm going to touch on, you know, I'm going to touch on some of the grades that came out for quarterbacks in the NFC East. It don't surprise me. It don't surprise me at all because it's the facts. It was shocking to me that Carson Wentz had the best grade of any quarterback passing from the pocket when Alex Smith is only a pocket passer in most cases. Only a pocket passer. It was shocking to me. I'm not going to lie. Alex Smith is only a pocket passer, but Carson Wentz leads the way in that. It don't surprise me that Carson Wentz was the best thrown outside the pocket. It got to translate onto the field for 16 games, though, man. It got to translate onto the field for 16 games. A lot of things have to happen, but you need elite talent at the linebacker position. We don't have that. We have elite talent on the defensive line. We have elite talent in the secondary and Malcolm Jenkins. We do not have elite talent in that middle core. We need that. We need it. We got captains on every level except the linebacker level. And I think that's the obvious pick for the draft. And I think everybody's overlooking it because we're getting caught up in the hype of the smoke and mirrors. But let's not do that.